To all my friends and patrons who help out with the K6UDA Radio show, I couldn't do it without you. Thanks. We're up here at 8,700 feet. Up at the top of the North Sierra Buttes. This is the fire lookout station. Fairly freaking treacherous to get up here. I am up here. I'm going to unplug that. I'm up here playing with the Xiegu 5105. We'll talk about that this time on K6UDA Radio. There's the drone.
Back there's cool, going that whole block. Really neat.
Oh my God, there's that. Is that the building?
Yeah, right on the very, very tip top. The Boy Scout camp.
Maybe some never grow.
Well,
maybe some.
where are we?
Well, we are. We're just past Sardine Lake in the Northern Sierra, headed for North Sierra Buttes Fire Lookout, 8,591 feet above sea level.
Shift and find a way. We're all a part of a plane. Whoa.
You want to hike the rest of the way?
Well, let's see how far we get.
There's some big ditches there, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be it, guys.
Well, we drove what, a mile at least, right?
Oh,
So we knocked a mile out.
I think we're closer than we think.
What do you say? Holy shit. Half mile my ass. This is like 2 miles is straight up the hill.
Yeah, I know. This is way harder.
Oh. Anybody kid you. As beautiful as this is, the hike up here was a son of a bitch. Right, Burton?
Yes, sir.
This was not the hike for the faint of heart. And I am the faint of heart. And had I known about it, I would have tested this Xiegu radio in my backyard. Screw this. CQ, K6UDA Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha, 4 Summits on the Air, NS139. CQ, K6UDA Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha for Summits on the Air. CQ, K6UDA Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha for Summits on the Air. CQ. Okay, so let's get real here. Taking a new radio up to the top of a mountain when you're scared and trying to do a review was not a great idea. I didn't take into consideration the strenuous hike that we had. There was an actual hiking trail that started further down the road. We figured we would take the Jeep trail and shave about an hour off of our ascent time. That didn't work so well because Dennis's Jeep Cherokee, well, Dennis kind of chickened out. Well, we all kind of chickened out because that was our only way off the hill, so we didn't want to break anything. Number 2, this hike that we ended up taking was incredibly strenuous. It was a massive undertaking. It took us nearly 4 hours to make the summit. Number 3, going up the ladder, climbing over the rocks and hanging on to that lookout tower. I don't do heights real well. Dennis, he was able to get his antenna parked out over the rocks a little bit. And good for him, you know. I mean, he's kind of an amateur tower climber, but he wasn't gonna do it again for me. I ended up hanging my balun off the railing, dropping the feed line down to where we were operating, and I literally threw the wire over the side of the cliff, 3,000 feet down. So I was propagating directly into the side of a rock. The 4th thing that was working against us was time. We planned to get up there at 10 o'clock, have about a half hour, 45 minutes to set everything up. Dennis ended up summiting about 20 minutes before I did. He had a little bit more time to set up. He was still late to get on the air. I was, say, 20 minutes behind him by the time I caught my breath up there and got my antenna deployed. I had about an hour to operate. Now, why do you say an hour? Well, if we didn't get off the summit and start down by 1:30 p.m., we weren't going to make it back to the Jeep before dark. And trust me, my friends, we didn't want to be there after dark. I now bring you my review of the Xiegu X5105. Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha QRP.
Three of you. The station ending with PA and says he's running QRP.
Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha QRP. Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha. Alright, so just made a contact with Des Moines, Iowa. Sorry, the battery on this camera died right in the middle of a QSO. Alright, a quick look at the features on the Xiegu X5105. Starting at the top of the radio, we have a PTT button there with a built-in microphone, speaker volume up and down, the band adjustments up and down. On the front panel, you have your power button, a preamp and attenuator button, and then a mode button. The mode button is going to take you through CW, CW reverse, FM, AM, lower sideband, and upper sideband. Moving down gives you your noise blanker. Next to that is an RIT. The bottom end of the front panel is the menu button. A quick press of the menu button and you can cycle through all the quick menus, and you've got the charging, SWR, what speaker you're going to use, noise reduction, all that good stuff. I want to take a second here because this is one of my favorite features of the 5105, the SWR Suite Meter. This is going to give you a very, very good indication of how your antenna is performing in the field without bringing an external antenna analyzer. The 5105 also gives you your choice of filtering 6 kHz, 0.5 and 2.4 kHz. Not a huge selection, but it's a good start for a radio at this price point. On the right side of the front panel, you have a memory and VFO mode. You have the 2 arrows, which lets you decide how tight you want your tuning. You have an A/B switch, so you can have 2 frequencies and flip back and forth very quickly. The power button is right there, so you can adjust your power level, and your automatic antenna tuner is right there. A long press of the lock button turns the lights on and off, and I really do like the fact that all the buttons are lit on this radio. Something Elecraft could have done. Flipping the radio on the side, there's your antenna connector, which is a BNC connector. Next to that is the IF out for an amp, your external speaker or earphone, and a charging port. On the other side, you have an accessory port, the keyer, automatic antenna tuner, external type. You have the COM port for doing software upgrades, and a mic jack. And along with the mic jack, you get an included microphone. That comes included with the Xiegu. All right, let's start off with what I like about the 5105. First off, nice solid feel to this thing. It is a solid metal case, and it's got good heft to it, and I suspect that most of that is battery. The next biggest thing that I like about this is the battery life. I mean, literally, I have charged this thing one time in the last month, and it is still at 93% battery. That was taking it up the mountain. That's playing with it around here. The battery on this thing, thumbs up, Xiegu. I like the lighted numbers on here, or the lighted keys. The display is okay. I mean, it's a monochrome display. It's got enough information in there to get you going. Being an HF machine, I really don't care about alphanumerics so much because I don't save frequencies on HF for the most part, and I certainly don't need alphanumerics to remember things on HF. I love the feet that are spring-loaded on there, and they tuck away almost invisible, and the protected jacks are very, very nice. The buttons are all pretty flat, and so I'm fairly confident that nothing's going to get torn off of this thing, you know, if it takes a tumble out in the field. Xiegu includes a nice little microphone with all kinds of touch tones and stuff that will control the radio. What I am not wild about on the radio is the fact that, and I don't know how you can get around this, but when this is in its packed state like this, say I'm going to throw this in the back, in the backpack, if it hits something, the BNC connector here is vulnerable. That's really about the only vulnerability that I see, other than this plastic screen here. I think this would shatter pretty easily, but I imagine, based on the screws, that this would probably be able to be replaced pretty cheaply. This is obviously not a contender for the KX3. I mean, the KX3 and the KX2, they are simply the best receivers on the market, pretty much for any HF rig you can buy. But at a price point that is less than half of a comparably configured KX3, I think this is an overall winner. If you're looking for something at a fairly inexpensive price point for what you're getting, this is a good radio. If you're looking for top of the line, save your money and buy a KX3. That's my opinion of the Xiegu 5105. Now, let's head back to the mountaintop. We did it.
We did it, man. Thumbs up.
We summited.
We summited today. 33 contacts on CW.
11 on 2 meters.
All right.
One on sideband.
One on sideband. You need more power.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Beautiful look.
It was a great day. Absolutely beautiful.
Hey, next year, field day up here. Okay, it's been about a, 6-mile hike so far?
Probably.
It was,
We've been on the road since 5 this morning.
yeah.
Yeah, 6 miles almost exactly.
We had a blast. It was a real adventure. We saw a lot of things, we experienced a lot of things today, and it went really well. So, sorry you couldn't make it with us. Maybe next time.
There you have it. W6/NS 139.
NS 139.
NS 139. I should just get like Navy hats and say NS 139.
Yeah, I know. They wonder. Yeah. We should do that.
We've now closed the station.
Yeah.